somebody who have a big up right now, let's get into it, Shadow. Alkaline.
Oh, for sure.
Have a big
Definitely,
up, have
for
a big
sure.
up that you do. Have a big up Alkaline because what him do last night is no small feat. To sell out the Barclays. Now, me see some people are trying to discredit whether I'm not him sell it out or whether I'm full up the place. From what I see and from what I hear. Because you know some have people on the ground, Shadow. You know.
Right.
From what
People are peoples.
I have people's on the ground, man.
Right.
Yeah, I have people's, yeah. So I say, yeah, man, place it full. And yeah, electrifying in regards to the atmosphere, the energy. It just seemed like him fans them really turn out in them numbers for support him. And it's a damn good look not only for him, but for dancehall.
I completely agree. I mean, I think Massacre. I think Alkaline. You know, I don't think people give Alkaline the credit he duly deserves on several levels. Because if you think about it, who was the last dancehall artist who, one, he's not coming off any kind of wave or hype or absence? You know, yes, he's aloof, as in you don't see much of him, but he's not coming off any of those types of things. He puts out music sparsely. You barely see him, he doesn't do interviews. And he's not doing any kind of aggressive online promotion or any of that stuff. And then he gets announced for a concert. And then the concert is sold out. Mind you, the only person who showed up on that concert outside of him was Cranium.
Yeah.
Just to do a cameo. Right. So it literally was him in concert.
Yeah.
And,
just him.
Right. And as you said, it was sold out. Remember, as I said, he's not coming off any wave and no hype and none of that. It's just announced, and they do whatever promotion they needed to do.
As Our Going is almost like that even though I did see the promo of it, I saw when it was announced, but Our Going coming like this, just sneak up. Power, in a way. Like me never really, like me see more of the Bomber up to the line promotion with him more than this. me see them advertisement there everywhere.
Well, true, but maybe it's just the way how it was promoted. But nonetheless, the point I'm making is that, to sell out the Barclays, because I think they say it was in excess of 13,000. And people were saying, oh, but the capacity is 19,000. But you have to remember, the capacity is based on the configuration of the space. Right? And based on the configuration, that capacity is 13. But I think CJ Milan, big up CJ Milan, also said that they had to put in additional seating, or at least put additional space in there, or create additional space.
I did see that.
Just to accommodate, the demand. So that within itself is a good look. The performance itself, I notice with every time I see him perform, he's getting progressively better in terms of his stagecraft, his interaction with the people.
Let's talk about it, because I have thoughts. Continue.
Yes, his ability, to engage the audience, put up your hand, do this, wave that, and, he makes his little introductions. And of course, you have the DJ in the background, big up to Ikel Marvelous and the rest of the team, who, they keep the audience engaged. But the point is that I watched the performance. I can't say that there was a lull at any point. Yes, there are going to be some points where, it's going to be, these are the high points where, you're going to have certain songs are going to have the people,
They might connect more because them are the hits in the catalog.
Yes.
As versus him newer song them.
Agreed. So you're gonna have some higher points in the performance than others. But nonetheless, as I said, for a solo act, that's great. Also appreciate that this is something historical, because Alkaline is in his early 30s. I don't know any dancehall artist who is a part of the generation of Alkaline that is doing it as impactful as him. And not only that, but he's a great example for the other younger talents, because now they can see that they don't have to be looking at saying, oh, it's only the artists who are of the Bounty Killer generation and maybe the Vybz Kartel generation doing this. But younger talents can do it. So it gives them motivation to say, yeah, we definitely can do this too. So, I mean, kudos to him. And what I also appreciate is how strategic he is with everything that he's doing, because as you note, it's a series of things. He has Up to the Line coming up. Outside of the performance, then he also has the album, which is dropping tonight.
Yeah.
Right? So you have the album, the performance, the proclamation, then you have Up to the Line coming up. And you have several other things. He has also, previewed some merch. So when you look at all of those things, you realize that's very strategic with what he's doing. And as I said, you have to give him props and anything you do in this life, they're always going to be naysayers. So you're always going to have to do people that, oh, he's not the first to do this and he's not do this. Don't listen to that. At the end of the day, regardless of who have done what, it's a great look to see some of the younger talents stepping up and helping to put dancehall further and push dancehall further and put it on the map and inspire other people to want to do better too.
I can't say that no better than what you said a while ago, Shad, because everything that you're saying is true. Right? Now, I have to ask, with the comparisons, do you feel like him kind of set up himself for that? The comparisons to Vybz Kartel, by the way, because you are going to see the Gaza fans them that say, oh, but Ray, you never do this and blah, 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 like the comparisons and you feel like, say, him kind of set himself up for that, or are just a byproduct of how dancers they we're very tribal?
It's a byproduct of how dancehall is. Once somebody has done anything and somebody else decides to step up, either to take it to that next level or to match whatever it is, you're always going to have the comparisons. So, the thing is that, that has always been, since you mentioned Vybz Kartel, people have always looked at it to say, oh, Vybz do this, and no other artist can do that. And so when he does it now, it's like, yeah, but Kartel did do, back to back, and so they are going to always try to find ways to one up, right? Instead of just appreciate the fact that, here comes another dancehall artist that is adding to it. But then you see, there's another part of this whole thing, you have to remember that Kartel and Alkaline are probably the only two artists in dancehall that actually don't have fans. What they have is an occult.
No, you're right. It's them two
Right?
fan bases,
Yes.
shout out them the normal at all.
Right.
Them
They will
ride
literally
why
crucify
hard
you
for them
if you
artists.
speak
Yeah,
ill
man,
of your
Then go hard
artists.
for them artists. Then go hard for
Yes.
them artists.
Right. You would know that because trust me, you have been the recipient of a lot of criticism.
Oh yeah, from
them.
the two side of Shadow.
Right,
Go on,
right.
from the two side them.
So you understand. So there's always going to be the comparisons, and especially because despite Kartel saying him having no issues with Alkaline and vice versa. Not that Alkaline has ever said that, but Alkaline is just a man that stays in his lane, and Kartel has said that, listen, I don't have any issue with the kid. That is just the media trying to create this controversy that don't exist. So, but at the end of the day, as I said, it's a great look, and competition is good. Dancehall has always been predicated on competition, from the Papa Sons, the Lieutenant Stitches, the Beanie Bounty, the King Stitch, you come right up, the Vybz Kartel, Movado. It has always been about that.
I just say that even what the podcast name, two side, one kind, because some people will look at, say, his performance, even carry himself, and say, based on how Kartel carry himself, how Kartel perform, me not like how him perform, because Kartel do theme performance this way. Where me that look upon it and say, it's different. You see me? And you like what you like. But to me, it's just a different offering. You see me? It's a different side. to performing because with a Kartel you get a very interactive performance. So I with a Alkaline, not so much so, but the crowd that they are singing him song them line for line. And it seemed like they have no problem with him not interacting with them. It seemed like to them that more feed into the mystique of how him carry himself where him not really say much. And to me, that can further aid in the look of a superstar because more time with a superstar, less is more. You know what I say? Sometimes when it's that you overexpose yourself and you do too much, that's when people feel like you're a bit common. So I feel like with him, less is more.
Right. It really just comes down to, but you see, again, it's about branding. And, the brand that is Vybz Kartel is a completely paradox to the brand
Different.
that is Alkaline. Vybz Kartel brand is about, showmanship, bravado.
Yeah.
There's gimmickry and theatrics in it as well. And just and craft. And craft as in is artistry.
And
While,
they're not for quotation, but there used to be with Alkaline. I guess that's why some people look for it from him. But at this age and stage in their career, just look like him just evolved past that. Like them thing they were used to get from him, like the uber charismatic person you'd have seen in interviews, like that's not him right now. I know him now.
Well, yeah, and clearly, but as an artist, one of the things that you must do is evolve, and we
Yeah.
have seen the evolution of Alkaline, and now the Alkaline we know his whole thing is based on just mystery, mystique, the aloofness, not seeing much of him, rarely ever speak, rarely ever seen, but he shows up and he does what he needs to do
That's why I never like saying to the
when it
interview, I
matters.
don't want to go into that again because that's a whole different conversation. That's why I never like the interview when I do with Cliff. I was like, me rather you just don't say nothing. Just don't do
But
the
I
interview.
said that he was very intentional in that interview because a lot of people was just like, boy, Alkaline this and Alkaline. And I'm just like, anybody who has ever interacted with Alkaline, or if you at least just kind of follow his career and who he is, you know that he's a very articulate young man. And the thing is that you hear it in his music, the way how he's able to articulate his lyrics and just the level of wittiness and lyricism, and just the way you have seen done like previous interviews, you understand that he knows how to articulate himself. So if he goes in that particular interview and he almost seems like completely detached from reality, maybe the intent was that maybe he went in there with the intent. I don't want to assume what it is, but maybe the intent was just to provoke conversation.
I don't want to go back in on a conversation about
Right.
the interview because it's far gone. But to me, for the people them who see that from him in regards to prior interview, them would have expect that from him in this, especially with Cliff Hughes and Nationwide. But yeah, it add to him mystique, him do it on purpose. I believe it. I believe you, Kakas, him do it on purpose. I'm running with
Here's
the
one of the
premise.
things I will say.
I'm running with the premise.
You also have to appreciate the fact that as an artist, your job is to take your fans through the gamut of emotions.
So-
You have to do things to make them happy, to make them sad, to make them cry, to make them angry, and all of that. And when you're able to do that, then you tend to galvanize more of a cult versus fans. If you notice, that's something Kartel has done and Alkaline has done. And most artists, if you're trying to rise in the ranks, boring and just being monotonous, or just just always on the same page and the same level and the same vibe with the thing, that doesn't work. Sometimes it's important, and it's for you to surprise the fans. Whoa, I didn't expect that. Why would he say that? Why would he do that? And all of those things help to drive curiosity, right? Because the thing, the more mysterious and unpredictable you are as an artist, that also helps to keep fans engaged, because it's like, what is he coming with next? We just never know. And that's one of the things that people like about Alkaline, is like, he's very unpredictably like, okay, you don't know what he's going to do or what he's going to say or where he's going to show up or what. For example, the album, there was no whole heap of fanfare
No, just
around
announce
it.
this well, let me
It's
ask you
just
this,
group
though, Shadow. Do
album.
you think that this is good in attracting new fans? Because to me, this works to consolidate the core fan base, the core data fan base, them, like even the interview and all these things, like it helps to do that because yeah, them just there and them just are the ride with him no matter what. But even things like, as we said, the interview, even how him perform, because as I said, me have a whole heap of people on the ground, different types of people too. Data fans, casual fans. What I'm hearing from the casual fans is based on how him perform, is that them wouldn't go an next show. That's what I'm hearing from them. So based on how him perform, like the non-engagement, the how him just go through songs quickly. Like even the dancer them I'm having never too like interact with them. Like them they think they're based on a casual fan perspective, they must say them wouldn't go back to see a next show of him. So would that attract new fans?
Of course, because part of the thing is that, curiosity is one of the things that drive artistry, and people like when you are not, when you're not predictable, right? So the thing is this, people been saying many things about Alkaline. Oh, Alkaline fall off, or him wash up him this and that. But yet there is Alkaline at Barclays Center, fully sold out. So all of those narratives that we're hearing has just been debunked.
Anytime him do a new rules, ram.
Right. So the thing is, my question is this. If he's doing so bad and people keep saying he's falling off, he's washed up, they're not going yet, why do they keep showing up? Where these people keep coming from that filling all of these venues and arenas, where are they coming from? So clearly a lot of it is just noise.
But at the end of the day, from your people are supporting en masse, nothing bad can be about that. Nothing at all can be bad. It can be the full data fan base, them are a mixture of that plus casual fan, them like as long as you have a bag of people that fill up a stadium, come see you. It's a good look, nonetheless.
Look at the current wave of dancehall talent in terms of the front runners, and name me 2 or 3 out of that batch, or even one that you think could have did what Alkaline did at the Barclays. Name me one. Many of who say that they're running the place and they have the wave and all of that, and they're the man at the moment. Name one of them that could have done that.
No, for the lot of them, it'll take some time to get to that level.
There you go.
Take some time.
Most of them don't even have that expansive a catalog.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And
that I think too, and that are the thing that people say, like the catalog is so good that him can get to it with the non-interaction. Because like them just there at interaction.
I wouldn't say it's a complete non-interaction. You have to remember
that's what them saying, and it's not the first time I'm hearing this. Again, this is not from me, this is from people there.
I get that. But then you have to remember that, a few may not like it, but then maybe the masses were thoroughly entertained. And the general consensus is that people enjoy the show. So again, while it would be great for everybody to enjoy the show, if the majority did, then you can't use the few to say, okay, they are, they count more than the majority. No. Maybe they just came with certain expectations and those expectations were not met. But at the end of the day, he still delivered a quality show. Right. And as I said, name me 2 or 3 artists from the current generation that have a wave that could actually pull off that. They
can't do name.
Right. So no matter what people want to say, you have to give due credit to Alkaline, whether you like him or not.
Without a doubt. What I'm doing last night, man. As you point out, anybody can do what I'm doing last night.
For me, I'm just looking forward to the album. Actually, I had a conversation with Sponge from Sponge Music, and he said, he said to me that the album will be like no other Alkaline album. So I'm like, okay, word.
He produced on the album?
Yes, it's produced. Yeah, he
Well,
has
shout out the
tracks on the
person who
album.
produced on the album. Of course, I'm not gonna say that.
Not necessarily, but I'm just
I'm
saying.
not
But,
expect him to say no less.
and he produced No Emotions as well. So
Okay.
that, right, which to me is a very nice song. Some people may think otherwise, but I like it. Plus, I mean, when you look at even just some of his previous work, this is now his third studio album.
Yeah.
Right, because I think he released New Level Unlocked in 2016. Right, and then he released what? I think it was Top Prize in 2021.
The Kaka album.
Right. Right. And the first, I think New Level Unlocked went number 1 on the Billboard Reggae Albums chart. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Top Prize, yeah, debuted at number 2. Debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Reggae Albums chart. Right. You can, but I mean, I'm just going, and even because I think the last time I did check, what was a couple of years ago, I think Top Prize had sold about 17,000 units in both sales and stream. Yeah, and that was about, I think that was maybe around like December 2021 or something like that.
As long ago the album they released?
Yeah, Top Prize was released in 2021.
I mean, I think 2022, 2023.
No, it was 2016 for New Level Unlock and 2021 for Top Prize. Yeah, you can check it, I'm sure. Right.
Yeah, 2021, yeah, you are right.
Right, yeah, I tell you.
Mm.
Yeah, and those, to me, those were 2 solid albums. They did better than most of the other albums within the category. Right.
Mm. Yeah.
So I could talk about first week sales, but I don't like to judge album based on those things.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop doing them things to check.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that, because you can't judge an album based on those things.
No, but you would like to see it though, especially from the giants and the big shakers and movers and dancer, from the likes of Alkaline, from the likes of a Massacre, from the likes of a Vybz Kartel. Because when they do well in regards to sales, that's when they will be taken more seriously outside of the genre, when they can say, oh, dancehall actually I move numbers, actually I move units.
Yes, but you see, here's one of the things though. I think, yes, streaming is not a good metric to judge these things, because we have seen situations where people will put out albums and the streams are not impressive, but then, for example, when you look at the physical sales in terms of they decide to put CDs and vinyl on the ground in the streets, and when you look at the numbers that those things move, you're like, whoa. But then when you look at the streams, you're like, a very recent example of that is we could look at maybe like a rapper like J. Cole. You see, J. Cole decided to go old school, get back into the car and, print CDs and go out there in the streets and market. And trust me, he has been making some serious
about groundwork in the groundwork.
Right. But then if he was just relying strictly on streams, then yeah, it wouldn't work. But when he goes out there and sell those copies now, and you look right now, you realize that in terms of numbers, he moving some of the biggest numbers, but yet still he was never considered to be like, one of the rappers with a wave in the moment.
I mean, he has nowadays, but in the beginning, not so much.
Right. So that's the point I'm making. So I'm saying, while stream is important, I try not to use that as like a metric to say, this is what is hot. And because truth be told is, even if you look at those things, trending and streaming, if you look in the local market and look at the charts of who you see trending, many a time some of those songs we have no idea, we have never heard those songs before. We're just like, who is this artist and which song is this? Right? Because again, many of those things can be manipulated. There are streaming farms, there are bots, there are all of these different things. So it's not a true representation.
It's not the end all be all, but as we say, something for just keep note of, especially to the signed artists. Because you cannot tell me say the suits and the jackets and time on them not pre them thing.
They do.
Because it's an investment what them have in these artists, and they want them ROI.
But those numbers can be manipulated, and in
True.
many instances they are manipulated.
True. For the
Right.
people them who are proven money getters, when them say, we need to forge the numbers them a little bit because we need
Right.
this artist to look good to the masses. Then.
Right. Exactly, right. Because a part of it is all just manipulation tactics. So, but as I said, we do look at that, but we're not going to use that to say it's gospel.
Yeah,
Right. So so we have to be careful. Like, while we like to see it, we have to be careful not to just take these like chart placements and these streaming numbers and just saying, oh, this is it and this is that and that. Because case in point, you could look at it. For example, even look at the women. You have Shensi, you have Spice, right? When you look at Spice moving some serious numbers, right? And then out in the space, some people would look and say, but Shensi is a bigger artist. And some people may disagree with that. Because, and then, people are going to say, oh, but look at this stream and Spice have this much stream and Shensi are doing this and that and that and that. But then the thing is that what now is the true metric to determine who is the bigger and more successful of the two talents?
Well, at least with Ascensia, at least when she was signed, the expectation is because you are signed.
She's still signed though.
Well,
she currently has a deal, I think, with since '93 Colombia. There's a joint deal there. Right.
I think she never signed no more. I think
no, man. She's signed. She was with Russian's Rich Immigrant, which was also a part of Interscope. But that is no longer. Remember, she stepped out of that deal. But she
stepped out of that deal. Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to be nice by saying stepped out of the deal. Right. But the point is, she's currently signed. No shade to Shensia, by the way, because I don't
none whatsoever. None whatsoever. So, I love Shensia. We love Shensia.
Right. Great artist.
Nice looking artist.
All right. You veering down a different part now. I'm just talking about
Shadow, a nice looking artist, Shadow.
Right. Huh?
Yeah, I know a nice looking artist.
I mean, she's aesthetically pleasing to look at times, But yeah,
pleasing.
Right. But let's just focus on the time.
Yo, people get used to these shadowisms. Get used to them, yeah.
Easier like we're talking about music. We're not focusing.
It's a part of the package. I should know it though.
No, naturally. I mean, as a female artist,
exactly.
Yes, as an artist in general, it's a package deal.
Indeed,
so. And for her, yes, part of her allure and what draws people to her is, her physical attributes, right? She's easy on the eyes amongst other things, but yeah.
But to the topic,
as I said, we're not talking about
right? We're not talking about Shensia and her nice looks and her nice.
So the point I'm making is this: I'm just saying that we have to be careful not to just take those metrics and use them as gospel, because they are not necessarily a true reflection of what is happening. And I say that, for example, because if you look at things like even social media, a lot of what you see on social media is what I consider to be vanity metrics. It looks good, but it doesn't translate. As in, you will look and you see many artists with like millions of followers, but yet still they can't sell 1,000 copies of an album.
Let's talk about it.
Right? So, so you understand that many times outside of some of those followers are bots. Many people that's following some of these artists are just what we consider to be just like curious onlookers.
Sure.
You're an interesting personality. You do things which occasionally grab people's occasion, and they'll just follow you.
Oh, you just put up nice picture. I just want to look for a sexy woman. You just want to look for a sexy picture.
And they click a like here and there.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're going to engage you and become a fan and be buying your music and all of those things. Because the truth is, if you have millions of followers and you can convert them to buy 1,000 copies of your album,
it look away.
Then, yeah, it does look away.
Look away.
You have millions of followers and you can't fill an auditorium with 5,000 people.
Them thing, they make me just start look on the numbers them and I say,
right.
And then you have to say, this not translate because you have million followers, yes, so You tell me say you cannot where the leads them there. Where,
There
no,
you
they
go.
can't be converted.
There
The
you
leads they
go.
can't no. Go on. So yeah.
But many artists will look at that, and many people in general, will look at that and say, "Oh, I have a million followers or this or that," and they think
Pre them
because
picture
maybe.
them never get past 1,000 likes, some of them.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is this: you'll have an artist who has very little presence on social media, um, in terms of even just numbers, and then you have another artist who have millions of followers. But at the end of the day, when you really go there, you realize that the one who has not as much following on social media can actually pull a massive crowd versus the one who have all of this following can barely sometimes fill a small venue. And so you see that so it's important that while social media is an important tool, it's equally important that we don't get caught up in this idea that I have a million followers or 10 million followers, so then I'm a bigger artist. That no. Yeah, so we have to be careful. That is why I said sometimes we can't just be don't get too caught up in these the numbers game
True.
all the time,
True.
right? There's more to it than that.
Oh yeah, again, big up to Alkaline, isn't it, for the achievement.
Looking forward to the album.
Looking forward to the album. Let's see. I feel like his album, Massacre album, Kartel album dropping in 1 year is you can see it as a milestone moment in a dancehall. And I
For sure.
want all three of them do well. All three.